Welcome back, everyone, to the second unknown trial. We have this time Odyssey on killer. I misspoke earlier when we were get into the transition, but we have once again Cyber AI playing killer for his team. We're seeing a small shakeup on the build. We're seeing one different add-on, which I believe that is the add-on that gives you faster vault and break speed after TPing, and we're seeing eruption instead of no-wed. So maybe we're a little bit more confident in our early game, which, Eruption, it can be very good, especially when playing for free gens, which, well, as I'm looking around the map, I'm not really seeing any great free gens, so that's a little bit unfortunate, but it always still helps. It's more aggression, it's a great perk, and especially when we get such an early, I was gonna say early tag, but it's gonna be the early down. We're back to the curse. We don't even have a down or a tag before you can talk about an entire down. I'm so sorry. I've yapped for too long.
Man, and do not even worry about it. The people see what they want to see, and an early down is obviously what Cyber is going to be wanting. Got to be playing for those 7 stages with the 4 freshes as well. So, he's definitely going to be wanting to get those hook stages up, especially if survivors are very vigilant on gens. We do see a little bit of progress on Shack. I'm wondering whereabouts the survivors have actually pulled the most. Obviously, Cyber spawning on 3, so I'm guessing that they've kind of rotated towards the right side, and that's where we're going to be seeing the most pressure, in fact. But we do have Max on the tunnel out, and because Cyber got the down so much quicker than Otaku previously, we are going to be seeing the tunnel out coming in before a Gen even pops here, and Max has to dodge this UVX to even last that little bit longer, which he does, but he's still only able to play a TL. He does not have the distance to play anything else. And I'm lying to everyone. I'm not lying, I knew exactly what I was talking about, and Cyber AI gets the down, deep 3 as well, which is definitely a very nice hook for Cyber AI here, as we do have Shack 1 and 3 to play for. What are you thinking, Sinter?
Yeah, I think that's a little bit unfortunate. I'm not entirely sure if I agree with pulling so quickly. Like, maybe if you try to go for an FTP play, that could work out a little better, but yeah, Max doesn't really have too much to do because if you remember, the crane was already dropped on a shack. It wasn't dropped, but that's the generator they were doing. So like, where is Max really supposed to go? You're kind of just pulling him this early and leaving him up to his own fate, which is not really the best course of action. And for that reason, Sirenia this time they're pulling him very early again, but at least they are giving them FTP, which should result in some extra safety. But we're just running away. We're showing our location. I think we might be able to stealth a little bit there, maybe waste some time from the killer. If we were able to completely hide, that would have been amazing, of course, but now we're just starting to chase instantly, and we're not even breaking this pallet. We have Brutal, but instead we're going to try to play it a little bit. When that M2 fills, we can, of course, just rely back on Brutal and break whenever we can. We hear some footsteps to my right, I think, which might indicate that I was trying to hit tank before Max is even injured, which is a decent play, because denying this tunnel out is really all that's important right now. Some generators are popping, we have some good progress, but when Max dies, it won't really matter, because we cannot play that 3v1 against Unknown, and we can only give a couple more stages, but Max will be going down. We're not able to get any of the spells, and M1 mind game comes through. That is very unfortunate. We're going into the 3v1 with not only 2 injuries, but our last survivor is actually still infected with the UVX, which might come out to play here. I'm not entirely sure. We might be able to dispel it just in time. Yeah, we do dispel it. So no funny 2 taps onto Hell coming out, but still, we're just going to commit this chase. We're not going to try to find any injured survivors. That just gonna see how well we can do shooting it underneath the pallet. Very nice shot by Cyber AI.
Man, he put that under the pallet just like pre-nerf Chucky. I was not expecting that to actually hit. Obviously Unknown, known for the wacky collisions and wacky bounces on objects. So I was thinking that was going to fly somewhere off to Timbuktu or Zimbabwe even. So the fact that that managed to hit as well and kind of keep him towards the left side of the map as well, which is incredibly useful for Cyber AI. Doesn't want to give him that full map distance. So we are seeing him playing the 4 lane and running into him, giving him that 5-star Amazon Prime delivery on the down there, meaning that Cyber AI is now able to hook on a pain res as well. Pain res being top mid or 12 here. We don't really see too much pressure from our survivors here as I'm cycling around in the spectator slots. Obviously, in terms of the compliments and the best bits about being a caster is I can freely look around and I'm not seeing too much pressure from our survivors here. And survivors here really need to not be pulling as quick, and they need to be getting that gen pressure and that gen progress that they need in terms of actually popping gens and getting outs in this situation.
I mean, I was gonna say we did have some. We did pop one generator a little bit before we got hooked, I think. But I mean, yeah, now we're just in that scenario where we're in a 3v1. Everyone's injured, and that's such a difficult place to get out of. You really have to try your best to, like, take a breather. You have to try to get that reset, and even though it's kind of dangerous, because if the killer ever finds a reset while you're in these 3v1 scenarios, it's kind of over. But you have to just send it at some point, because having everyone injured, especially against a killer who, even though he's kind of harmless and chase sometimes when played well, but that is going to connect very nicely. Then there's going to be extra last pain res as well. But yeah, I was just saying, even though the killer isn't that strong in chase, the fact that he can just get some teleports around the map means he has a lot more influence and a lot more map pressure than some other killers, which means just giving these hooks and like getting found in the generators, it's really not a game plan you can go for, and that's why once we saw one reset coming through, and we're going to be seeing the second reset coming through as well, so they're listening to me. Hey, you're not allowed to listen to the casters, guys. Get away from the stream, but we do find the reset goal, so that is going to be quite difficult. It means it's going to be hard to split up and get someone for the rotation on that pull, and we need someone on a generator as well in the meantime, because we're still 2 generators off, which this is not where we want to be.
Yeah, definitely not very tricky to survive here. It's not looking too possible, but you know, it's Dead by Daylight. The impossible is possible, and the possible is sometimes impossible as well. I know what I just said doesn't make entirely too much sense, but we have seen some absolutely amazing plays come in to get survivors and killers alike out of some really tough situations, especially in this season. We do see Moon getting hit through pallet on like the 8 tile here and going down towards bottom. Now, something we haven't taken into note here is Cyber AI has actually matched the WinCon. Match the Tycon even, sorry. Absolutely yapping myself here and probably driving everyone insane. So we are matched with the Tycon here, so all we have to do is get one more hook when survivors are looking absolutely toast. Moon doing a great job of delaying that down. Survivors able to work gens instead of reset, because they really need to be having that gen pressure here. Obviously in the ideal situation you have time to reset and time to go into the 3v1 with full healthy, but in this situation we're not really looking as if that's too possible for survivor side here.
As Moon is doing a good job with Jason, we actually see survivors have managed to get a ton of gen power, so if we're able to last a little bit longer here, and I mean, even if we don't have any pain resist available or anything, I mean, yeah, we're gonna win this 50. The unknown is a little bit too slow. I feel like ever since they nerfed his one add-on that massively increases or decreases the downtime after TPing, his TP just isn't that good in chase, especially on these slightly shorter pallets while they're still undropped. It's just a little bit too risky, and I mean, we are gonna get this down, which will solidify probably that win con, but survivors have done such a good job here coming back, and I mean, they did exactly what I said they should do. They took a breather, they got the reset, they played it safe, and then they started smashing those gens. And then, of course, they had a great chase by Moon. They're wasting some time, and that might result in 8 stages, but might even be trying to get Moon off of this hook. But I feel like that is quite risky, especially considering Otaku hasn't been healed yet, and Fel is still infected, and we see Fel here, which is the only other remaining survivor, is injured, but they are just going to be taking that result. That is 8 stages, and definitely not something to be ashamed of, but sadly, Odyssey is still going to take that win, though.
Yeah, man, that's a very... Okay, everybody, welcome back to the matchup between Odyssey and Sirenia. Obviously, we saw first set go to Odyssey with the 4K2 result on Artis. A very good result so far, and that is Odyssey's pick out the way. Now, going back to Sirenia and the matchup at hand, we do have Sirenia's pick of Unknown Wrecker's Yard. Before we actually take the first tag, I'm going to hand it off to you, Sinter, because I want to break the curse of having first tag before we hand over to the second caster. So, my man, take it away.
Oh, thank God, we've done it. Well, we've managed to get through an entire first part of the chase, and the survivor has just completely vanished. Is that Houdini on Team Odyssey? I think it might be, and that is crazy start of the chase. It means all the survivors have had time to cross from the top side of the map if they so wish. We do see one survivor has started Shack, which is a little bit of progress. One survivor pathing a little bit towards 12. I wonder maybe someone's working that generator above us as well. We're seeing some crazy mind games coming out there, which will result in an M1 if we decide to take it, which of course we will, because this killer's harmless. Why even play for M2? I think Otaku also kind of realizes that if we're looking at the build, we're running not only a chase work, but also Noah on top of that, which is definitely going to be try to just play as safe as possible. It's kind of a playstyle where, ooh, that actually connects. That is a really good job, and we're actually choosing to. I was gonna say, if we choose to greet this and go Shack, that would be really interesting because we don't have any tags yet, so it would be a little bit risky, especially considering we knew this generator one had some progress, and getting the hook right on top of that's gonna be very, very useful, especially since Painters doesn't even hit this. This might have hit generator that's being stacked or something, or maybe the chargers have a bunch of progress. So we're just gonna have to see how much progress they really have on different generators.
Well, we did see quite a lot of progress there on 11, so I'm not quite sure about the time of rotation from the survivor working that, or whether it was stacked from the start and we had the split. But we do see Julia on hook now. Obviously, quite a lot of progress around the board for survivors. We have Shack high progress. I've just had a little flick around, and we do see 7 high progress as well, which is going to be popping anytime soon. Come on. There we go. There we go. So 7 pops as well. Survivors really having a efficient game here. For one hook, we have gens at around 70%, and 2 of them, in fact. Not even just 1, 2 of them. Otaku's first chase wasn't even long either. It was not a long chase whatsoever, especially for the likes of Unknown. I have definitely seen chases last a lot longer. And this hallucination is actually going to completely take Julia away from 9 side of the map. Otaku gets an unfortunate bounce, and she actually does make the tile. So this is going to be something to look out for. Obviously, we want to commit for the tunnel out, but in this situation, I'm not sure if... Oh! Oh my god, 50 Demon swinging through the pallet, doesn't drop it and manages to escape the hit as well. Low ping demons, man. This is what I'm saying. I feel like you can't discount them out the game, and we are seeing a bit of dying under the pallet, and we saw the Ada previously, and I'm wondering if she's going to still be around playing for that pallet save here.
Yeah, I mean, what we're talking about here, this is the gen efficiency you need. Even though we were hooked on, like, we were hooked on the tile on 10, and the progress generators were 11 and Shack, which means we were kind of able to control both of them. And I feel like even though Otaku tried his best to stay in between those gens, it doesn't really matter. It's still showing. Odyssey, they have a lot of gen focus. Like, they're quite efficient, and even though Zeus is going onto the second stage, we have at least his generator on 11 is still 50%, and of course, a survivor that level 7 that's probably started another generator somewhere on the right side of the map, which is kind of still our free gen, but I don't assume we're going to be playing for any free gens. I think we're going to have to try to play for a result where we maximize our amount of stages, which might require us to commit a little bit further away from the hook, because I'm not entirely sure if the survivors are too interested in pulling this, at least anytime soon. It does seem like we are just splitting away at far generators and have someone stealthing here to pull Zulz at the last possible second, then maybe they can take that chase to Shack and last as long as possible. And yeah, the pull comes out completely for free. FTP as well. I forgot that was actually even allowed, but that is going to be quite big. It's definitely going to secure the fact that playing for the tunnel out is not the correct play here, and Otaku immediately realizes that he's swapping to the FTP survivor. He's going to try to get a fast down. We win the 50 there. That actually hits as well, even though we tried to dodge away from it. The M2 was still nicely placed, and we get that down. There's also going to be another pain res.
Yeah, it's ramping up a bit here, man. At the beginning, I wasn't quite sure what to be saying, but now there's everything to talk about. We have survivors with their impeccable gen split and their gem pressure. Obviously, Otaku realizes he can't play for the tunnel out anymore, as previously said. And we also have gens that he can't even play for either, really. We see 11, 2, and deep 3. I believe we have something around 5, but no, it's 9. I'm completely lying to everyone here. So we have a 2-2 gen split, and survivors aren't going to be letting them, letting Otaku be playing for a long game here. They're just going to be ramping up on the gens and letting Intimi sit on the hook for as long as possible, and maybe even letting him go second if it means that they get to pop 2 gens for the hook here. I would not be surprised at all if we do see Intimi maybe even dying on hook, especially, but we do see Zulz actually coming in and coming for the pull. Or is this... Oh, this was a rotation from 2. I do believe that Mitch was previously playing, and we do see an M1. Oh, I don't even know what to be saying, man. I'm lagging. I'm not caught up, man. I'm on ping. This is crazy. We are cut off from the gen here. Obviously, 2 has quite a bit of progress, and Mitch not opting to play the pallet, which I'm quite surprised about, and instead just giving a tag to go towards 11. If this even connects, okay, it does. Our ping is not that low. We are not bunk betting with the server. I'm glad to let everyone know.
And this was
Oh.
oh my god, I was just to talk about like the game state, but already instantly losing another 50. Mitch gonna be going down to the ground instantly, which I mean it really just shows these pallets are not that safe. I think this is also like a pallet that got slightly changed, so I'm not even really sure how to play that pallet at this point. It's a little bit of a weird one, but yeah, we did see Souls, who was our Deathwood survivor, playing for this pool as well a little bit earlier before we decided to another survivor, but it does indicate that 9 is gonna have a little bit of progress, but doesn't even have. That's a decent bit of progress. I'm not sure if we're really able to leave that, but it looks like Otaku's not interested. Gonna try to look maybe for Cyber AI, who we did see on the right side of the map earlier. Because yeah, if we could commit him, that could maybe result in our last pain res, which is shaping up to be actually a pretty decent result. I mean, collected all the fresh hooks. Now, the only one we still need is Cyber AI, and it's in a little bit of a precarious situation here. I mean, this is a dangerous pallet to be stuck on, especially considering, well, we're dodging the M2. Usually, you have to always try to dodge the M2 because taking the M1 is so much better against Unknown, but that's kind of a bait here by Otaku because the Noah pops and you're just instantly going down through that M1. That's very unfortunate. Cyber going for the technically correct play happens to not be correct in this part because we didn't decide to 99 negates, but holy crap, 7's already open. I feel like that's gotta be Wake Up or something. I mean, they were instantly on that gate as soon as the last gen popped, but this is scary. Survivor is going for the trade. We do get it just in time, and Zulz is in fact Deathhook. I was gonna say, if we don't get that trade, that's just gonna be an extra stage because we can camp the hook and the Survivor right next to the ground, and since we're so far away, what just happened? We're looking at the sky, hello? Game? Okay, sure. Apparently you can't dodge flashlights or flashbangs anymore. But I mean, I think either way, Cyber AI was gonna be out, and we're forced to just take this hook, which is quite unfortunate. Even with Noed, we weren't able to secure that many extra stages. I'm not sure how to feel about that.
Yeah, obviously Cyber would have been living a lot longer without the Noed proc, and that insta down does give him that lap.